Hey there, and welcome to the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Friday Night Race, Lunar Racing Club. Tonight, my name is Sheep Launcher. I am here in the booth with Deathlike. We have 4 great runners on stream. We have 9 runners overall. Fiery Blizzard in the top left, Rybon in the top right, Scythe Marshal in the bottom left, Plumerian Knight in the bottom right. This is the Lunar Racing Club flag set. This is a really challenging flag set, so it's good to see a lot of participation. And Deathlike, we have an Edward to start and a Darkness Crystal that unlocks a lot of the seed. What are you looking forward to tonight?
Darkness Crystal start, literally. Just start there. Start the panic mode. You've got the when you combine it with the Edward start with and without a spoon that he can swing away with, that's a panic-inducing attack. Especially if like say Iridia shows up. You know what? Because I like my memes. I would like to see it happen. Team. It's team. At least it's a mage, and at least it's a freebie. And if Iridia shows up, you'll love her.
Yeah, Edward is joined by Yong, the King and Queen Evelyn, hand the Leviathan summon over, and we are underway. We are glad to have you with us. We are joined by our restreamer Daphis and our tracker Possum Morpheus. Leviathan summon isn't going to be any immediate help. That loaded kit is going to help out. The treasure in this flag set on the pro setting, there's going to be a lot of junk, so a lot of discarding to do. I don't think any of our runners will be supremely confident in getting anything substantive accomplished early.
Wouldn't stop racers like Rybon hoping for something worthwhile in sections where hey, you might get some good loot. I see a Zero summon, a Tiara, but for characters still not in the party yet. So right now, looking over your options and still not getting anything worthwhile. So that's even then, you don't have the party to make the most of it. It's not even a party that, I mean, you'd have maybe a cat claw. If a cat claw shows up, a poison claw. I guess that's half the battle. So it could be worse. But if Fiery's trying something different and looting something, for better or worse.
Yeah, the cursed ring that Plumerian Knight found in the front of Watery Pass will be nice. Oh, there's a cat claw in Evelyn, as well as a dancing dagger for Eddie, and now Fiery Blizzard has a little bit of something to go on. Rybon heading up to Mount Hobbs says another character is what he needs, and finds a comedian working out his latest material up there. Golbez staring down Palom, a Quake kid. If Palom can survive this fight, Palom will be up to his level 2 spells and instantly will elevate this team.
Interesting, and I'm not sure it'd be enough time to just hide the Edward to try to get all the characters saved, but maybe it doesn't matter. There's not. I don't think Sea Hero is on, so maybe that'd be perfect anchor. We just hey Edward, you the rest of the night is yours on the ground.
Yeah, Sea Hero is not on, so Edward will stay at 60 HP if he does not survive this fight. And you can see in the basement of Damsing Castle a whole bunch of junk down there. That is a junk drawer of a castle room. A cloth, a mallet, just a whole bunch of stuff you don't want.
So the flag junk, it just means that usually a lot of low tier items that you would consider worthless, like maybe a shadow shield or a ruby ring, would be automatically given by default. Free Enterprise doesn't have it enabled, so they'll all be sold and be given to you as instant money. So instead of that, you get to keep the junk. So if you like to face off with the infamous inventory boss, infinity to zero, you can have at it. Of course, you can sell it or dump it, but all that junk you're collecting.
Luckily, Free Enterprise has a little quality of life thing. When you pick up an item, you can either choose to take it in by pressing that A button, or you can press the right trigger, I believe, to instantly dump it. And that puts it right back in the box, and you don't have to put it in your inventory. Rybon is through. The other three are staring down their gold bezes. Rybon did pick up a silk web from the back of Mount Hobbs.
Yeah, I'm usually. I think we're kind of dire need for some equipment, even if it's like a stat stick or some armor for just for even just anything of value. And it's I don't think we found anything too valuable. The crystal ring will probably be will hold some sway when once found, but not quite the cast of characters that will immediately benefit you. When we do looting, we're always thinking for instant power. We're talking like Gungnir for Kane or Lightsword for Cecil. And when you don't get any, we don't get quality of that, especially with T Pro on in a lot of the dungeons. You're gonna. It's gonna be you'll be looking for a lot of other loot. Like I think Stardust might have been picked up or could have been part of the starting loot. It's good enough. It's good enough for one hit at least.
Scythe Marshal, the only runner on stream who was not able to get Palom that experience on that Golbez fight. All of the others managed to get him up to those level 2 spells. So we'll see how this affects Scythe Marshal early on, but at least for now, he's a little bit behind. Rybon is through and gets a Baron Key from the Antlion Cave. We did see King Queen Eblin at the first spot in Baron. That's got to be a little bit tempting for our runners.
Probably will. I think runners will try to go in order of difficulty, especially when you have. I think with the starting set having exit, so means we're not dependent on Atella. I mean it's very helpful, really good, useful, and especially when you need the levels. For especially Scythe with not getting the levels on Palom, will probably want to try to guarantee getting it. So. The value of some of the early starting inventory is kind of a boon, especially, and it's gonna wear out its welcome once you've completed the bulk of the four main key item locations, not including Mount Hobbs. So that. And once you get to that point, you can probably sell it or dump it or whatever you want with it.
Fiery Blizzard also threw these Lunars deep in the Antlion Cave. Scythe Marshal right behind, and this time Palom stays up and gets some experience. So all 4 runners on stream, and 3 of the 4 runners so far have gotten through 2 fairly difficult bosses early on at the first time of asking. So some very high level play being displayed so far tonight.
Rybon finds an elements, but having problems getting rid of the Edward simply because, you know what? Yang's in the back row, he's loss of accuracy. Edward's in the back row, increase of defense, so had to do it the most difficult way. Burn Edward alive. That's. I mean, hey, you need quick solutions. You might as well do it directly. But of course, and Edward's going to be healed after this fight. Just the benefits of knowing or disadvantage of knowing the fact that you're going to be healed and then healed again after for the Fabul fight.
All of the summons coming out. The King of Fabul gives the Sylph summon orb. No Rydia yet, and there are 7 distinct characters in this seed. We don't know yet who they are. We've seen 3 of them so far. By the way, in Baron Inn, there is a duplicate Yang. No dupes are on, so you can't have 2 Yangs in your party. Being guarded by a purple robe, Lunar Marionite was poking around there, trying to see if he could get a closer look at whether that's Mylon and all his friends or just Mylon Z, but was not able to enter the fight to actually see that for sure. You'd think you could tell just from Mylon sitting on that chair, but no luck.
you just keep Pelham at the ready. That's all you need. That's all you need to worry about at that point. And if you've noticed, hey, you see some selling going on, but no buying is happening, and maybe maybe some shopping, but it'd be only one thing and one thing only: cabins, because cabins. You can't supply any. You've got camping gear, but you've got nothing else.
At least they're free. The cabins are free, so that's nice.
But everything else is nothing at the same time.
So Rybon poking around Eblin Castle did run into the 3 Mad Ogres and reset. We'll see. He did stick around long enough to see who that was in that trap chest. Now encounters the Black Cat Lamia, and this is one that he was looking for. He thinks he could take this.
I think with the Stardust item, you can just gamble outright, but with you have at least a 1 hourglass available, every fight in Eblin is relatively safe. In a limited sense. Rybon were very fortunate. Did not wipe. Could have been wiped, as this is the least amount of punches through just 3 monsters compared to there's 3 Mad Ogre chests. But if it were the skulls and stale gold, that would be more pain, and you probably would wipe outright. So this is very, very fortunate, because probably would have needed a little bit of healing before the fight. But hey, if you want to save some time, why don't you gamble?
Fire Blizzard heading up Ordeals, finding the Dark Imps in the first spot. Kind of a waste of a free boss in that spot. Fire Blizzard threw it just about instantaneously.
I think I missed the first fight for Scythe, which I missed it. I think it was just the Mylon Zed. So, but I think this is the second fight with Octomem. The Karate spot has 0 magic defense worth speaking of, so that vampire doing maximum damage, and Alt Gauntlet on the top on the backside of Mount Ordeals, so not a lot of fun. Even though having perfect weapons still was just. I'm not sure what was. Not sure what Fiery needed, but I think maybe just need to rearrange, try to get Yang most of the. Something.
Needs to reconsider whether he actually wants to encounter so many zombies dancing up on his back. This is going to be obnoxious.
And still reset, so not happy. Probably forgot. Forgot. Oh yeah, back row. Sometimes when you do enough back row fights with certain bosses, like you forget. Oh yeah, we do need a switch. It's happened every so often. Rybon, I think, has gotten one part cleared up, so I think we'll be back for more, and we'll be dumping everything because everything will be sold for nothing, so it doesn't matter.
And Scythe does take care of Barrett and does get a package for his efforts, and will do a save right outside of Barrett and at least check to see who this is. It's a duplicate Yong, no thanks.
Yeah, duplicate characters will show up in the seed, but you can't use them. So yeah, you see all the Yangs. It's not your imagination, so it's not. And it'd be nice to have more punch mages, because well, at these levels you'll be picking up. That would be great, but no. So right now, kind of being a little bit hampered by that, and I think we're finding out. I'm not sure. Well, maybe Fire Blizzard might prove otherwise, but Baron may be the place to be, and might be scary if the Darkness Crystal is actually behind the Odin spot. That actually, because that I believe Unsafe will unlock that, because so that might be a challenging thing for our runners if that is what ends up happening.
And Plumerian Knight has not completed the race, has not forfeited or anything like that. We're working to get Plumerian Knight back up for you.
The technical issues, internet's what they are. Twitch sometimes it's you don't. you don't know where the source is sometimes, and you know what? It's not a lack of trying. Let's see. Rabon is getting some good gear, and we're gonna see what's actually there. Oh yeah, it's Zed. That's it. That's an easy punch out. But again, want to avoid the Edward. Also putting Yang in the middle, so because Yang, I think of all the characters plus the Cat Claw, would be the fastest character on Toe.
Yeah, and this is a spot that really benefits from fast anchoring. So Yang in the middle will get plenty of turns to help knock out that Octomam. The slowest spot in the game, and Octomam just gets slower. So Scythe Marshal making the big play into Baron Castle did loot out the waterway a lot, going way into the nooks and crannies more than we usually see from our runners on Free Enterprise. But King Queen Evelyn waiting for him here. They will become conscious soon enough. And Plumerionite actually showing us back online. Plumerionite made the play to Baron Castle as well, and it's Baigan on the throne. The nightmare is real.
Everyone knows that when you're vying for the king slot, you gotta take that spot. Baigan knows exactly what's going on. It's always an inside job. At least that's what they tell me. But the Quaken isn't in the kind of position to take on deal damage to Baigan directly. King Nazo surprisingly has some magic defense, so whenever you remember, in vanilla, when you use Tella to use Lightning 3 on Kanazo's Lightning Form, he's doing quite a bit of damage against magic evasion. Considering Tella not having magic defense, considering Tella doesn't have quite the spell power, you kind of realize that. You kind of need Quake to actually, bluff a few times to make a difference, and even then, Baigan has no elemental weaknesses to speak of. So so you see Plumeria, wising up, and using a Stardust, and we see a free D-Mist on Mount Ordeals.
And the Twin Harp from Ordeals as well. Ordeals aren't required because the third objective, you got to break the Dark Elf spell with the Twin Harp. Fading Twin Harp is not going to be an option, at least if you want to finish the seed. You have to complete all 4 objectives, so Ordeals is going to be part of that path.
Hard to fade. It's hard to wanting to fade Ordeals. I know, some runners like to fade Ordeals because there's no inherently, unless you magically get a food or acquire the characters that demand and requirements of Mount Ordeals, being Tella and Cecil. Fading sounds tempting, but this is not the seed to do it, especially because Harp is required, and having participated enough race, it's just watching enough races where, oh wait, Harp, we've missed Harp. Tonight will be fun.
Scythe Marshal did an extensive loot out of Baron Castle, going into all of the treasuries, going into the towers, going down into the basement to loot out the treasure, really looking for some stuff. I do like the Baron sub-treasury in the basement, kind of Troya treasury level items. Did get a Lilith Rod and a bandana, both of which will be put to excellent use by Scythe Marshal here. And then going way back out into the waterway to save. Once again, excellent use of that save point. You don't want to lose all that stuff.
Baron Castle's an underrated loot area. Just because, I would just, if you just pick up a piece of treasure from the 3 that you, after you do the Baigan spot, is still pretty valuable, and just a cedar and another, you'll find, if you stumble upon a curse string, it's a plus. So there's not, and Lilith Rod not being exciting, but it's still pretty pretty piece of useful, and a stat stick for Palom. Maria, unfortunately, finding out that that spot, that Kinazo spot, without decent Palom is not a fun spot to be at, and it's completely understandable. Move completely walking that way out and doing Mount Ordeals, trying to just getting some levels on Palom, just to get him really online.
Yeah, that back attack gauntlet is going to be useful to get that Quake kid to Virus at least, maybe even to Quake, which is going to really help against Biden. Rybon is there. Did not see what level his Palom is, but quite a bit higher than Scythe Marshals.
Trying to get a bluff because Biden, even if I think if it's a virus, then it should be good. If it's a fire 2, it might be problematic because the magic defense, I don't remember the exact numbers. I think it's like 20s or 30s. So that's gonna reduce the damage by like a level 2 elemental by almost half, and so the bluffs are gonna be necessary. If you bluff, is great for linking spells like Nuke. Glorious, because it's one of the strongest spells in the game, and it does a lot of damage. But you need that, and that just wasn't enough. So I think though it's probably just only 1k of HP left to go through for Baigen though. So it probably though will take some effort as it's not free, so looks like the Gaia Drum will be supplementing some of the damage and hoping that be enough. And that virus is not going to happen. Oh, waiting for the reflect. Oh, there he goes.
And nicely done. Rybon knows can't attack Baigen directly because that wall is up. Baigen a little early, resetting the wall, put a wall up on Yang, so before Baigen could grow his arms back, that reflect goes off of Yang onto Baigen down, and Rybon gets a cane for his efforts. A betrayer just hanging out in Baron Castle. We'll see what the reward is, but that was very nicely done by Rybon there.
Yeah. The question is, what do we have for Kane? I think maybe the best thing was a wind spear, and that's it's like maybe a slumber sword that doesn't.
A tracker Posomorpheus saying ogre axes around.
That should be sufficient, but though he will need levels immediately, as that is not going to. Oh, and that's not even a key item we need. So maybe we need to be going harp. So Rybon, having not done Mount Ordeals, was probably going for the Demus Hunt, as when you have no free key items, that means you got to hunt down Demus. We know Demus is on Ordeals. We don't know. I don't think we know what the key item that Demus provides, but we do know Harp is on there. So that right now, Rybon's just gonna go peek the boss and reset out, probably because we know where the boss is.
Yeah, might peek the package as well. Did put the airship right in the middle. CPU in the Mist Cave. That duplicate Yang Rybon discovering. And there would be a tiny chance that Demus would be hiding behind that package. That would be a very trolly maneuver, but we know that's off the table. Boo.
You're almost better off just doing Mount Ordeals. So because at that point, when you have an potential early Demus hunt, you just you kind of want to just go look at the boss spots and just hope that it's not behind package, because and you just want to kind of survey all the boss spots, probably intentionally, just to not peek the spots, but also get the XP. Right, Brian probably doesn't need as much not as much XP because of having gone through Baron, but this probably might be able to reach Quake levels. No, I'm not so sure, but although Rybon did at least fight one of the treasure chests, so probably closer to Quake than the rest of the runners.
both Fiery Blizzard and Scythe Marshal through Baigen, our tracker Possum Morpheus, one of the great runners in the community, pointing out the great tactic used by Scythe on that Baigen. Lip Bolt item used does penetrate the wall. It also does not care about the magic defense. So Scythe Marshal, a really heads up play there, will get his Sork Robe and will be off to his next adventure. And Fiery Blizzard going to be the first to check out the Barren Basement. Dark Elf down there is obnoxious. Woof.
That's actually half free. So the tri-elemental part of Dark Elf is kind of a nuisance, like mostly on the weak side, on the weak spell. But the difficult part is actually the second half. We do have Palom to cast Stop at the very least if you're really threatened by that. But you're probably just gonna go Virus, Quake, Dark Elf. So I don't think it's that difficult, as bad. But Earth Crystal and Harp, Fiery Blizzard is setting up for a routing haven, just because probably gonna do Harp is required, and then gonna immediately do Zot because hey, you're already there.
You know how to whistle, don't you? You look in the bushes in mist. Fiery Blizzard is immediately going to check out that Twin Harp. Not much of a choice, really. It's either Twin Harp or Earth Crystal for him. And yeah, we still don't have a way underground.
Well, it's underground or moon. So for entertainment, it better be Darkness Crystal. But for runners, they're probably hoping for anything that gets them underground and not have to worry about the moon. So that's and oftentimes you want if you're going underground, you may want the hook because you want to be cashing in the rat tail for any reason. But Magma Key will serve serviceable. And it makes life easy. You don't have to fight the two bosses. You know what? Hook seeds are what they are. They're like bittersweet.
And so Fiery Blizzard going to check that out. Oh, does get another Ogre Axe for that cane. Our restreamer Dathis pointing out, in addition to Twin Harp and Earth Crystal, yeah, there is that Barren Basement with that high-level Dark Elf down there against a relatively squishy party. But Fiery Blizzard is going to show us one of our favorite parts of the randomizer. Well, this part isn't the most favorite, getting through the Dark Elf script. But Edward's going to come and save the day by playing a classic piece of video game music on his harp. There are over 500 songs in the pool now, and one of them will be randomly selected for your enjoyment. And that was Genova from Final Fantasy VII. Do want to thank Xenocat and Calm Lamity and everybody else who's contributed a harp song into that. That is a darkness crystal.
I'm here
Huge.
for it.
Huge.
I'm here for it.
Also, Plumerian Knight gave us a look at the Troya treasury. Plumerian Knight's going to give us a rousing rendition of the harp theme in a moment, but that Troya treasury, honestly, a little underwhelming. Defense sword, power shirt, not a ton else.
So you mean a Kane ideal starting equipment, is what you're
Yes.
saying.
Yes. Kane was very happy with it. Nobody else got a ton out of it. You know, if you're into a wizard hat or something like that, Fire Blizzard's going to give us another chance to examine those wares, while Plumerian Knight gives us that was the Genova death. This is Genova life. And Plumerian Knight is through getting his Darkness Crystal. Fiery Blizzard going up on in the tower to take on Plague here, and Plague be doing a little bit of a concern, but Fiery Blizzard looks to have it under control.
Yeah, the fight itself isn't as difficult in the sense of Plague doesn't really do anything outside of making sure that everyone falls down at the same most practically at the same time. But the HP at the spot actually is slowing things down. So Palom has to chew through a lot of it with virus. Quake can't be used because hey, if you are the trick is if a enemy's weak to arrows or spears or boomerangs, Quake Kid is in fact not can't do Quake things. So using virus is kind of a requirement. You just don't ignore the floating thing. Just know weakness equals is where what determines whether it's actually quakeable or not.
And Fiery will give us the first look at the characters that are up here. That is a duplicate Kane. And Dark Knight Cecil is the boss, the second boss in Dwarf Castle. Fiery Blizzard is discovering. Would really like to see a usable character here.
I mean, well, DKC is a free boss at the gold spot, but we got vanilla, double scoop of vanilla in one spot. How about
there we
that?
go. How about it? Dathis is our restreamer tonight in a completely unrelated development. Do want to thank our tracker Possumorpheus as well. Fiery Blizzard does get that Rosa in his party. He will be very appreciative of that. And to get out of here, he'll just need to stare down Odin.
Shouldn't be too bad. Quake Kid has it in hand. Probably will still try to not actually in a rush to take down Edward. Having the curse, especially, I think all of runners have raided the treasury. Will pick up a cursed ring as one of the things that not just the defense shirt and the power shirt, but that cursed ring is a freebie. Given that it's kind of for this seed, kind of really necessary, especially and allowing Edward to at least stick around for a little bit until he's not really needed anymore. Right now, his presence is not at least not as not doesn't need, he doesn't need to be taking a nap as long, at least for a little while longer until his agility, which he is a speedy fellow, so he might, so not having him having him for a little bit longer is fine until his agility makes him less of an anchor. So right now the cursed ring is keeping Edward alive a bit longer.
The cursed ring has been available since the beginning of the game, basically. What's in the front of Watery Pass. Fire Blizzard has Quake on the kid now, does get a ninja hat from the Tower of Zot. Not what he was looking for. That means the Darkness Crystal is the way underground. It looks like.
No, there's one other option.
There is the Odin Throne. Yes.
Yeah, so we might
have the Dark Elf in the basement.
But I think we're gonna. I think we've made up our minds at this point. What do you want to test? I mean, Dark Elf is simple enough, but it's still like one check and does not guarantee. So, at this point, it could be what it. I mean, both underground options could be on the moon for all we know. So even if one of them is down here, you're guaranteed something is going to be on the moon, regardless.
And so Fiery Blizzard summoning that whale. Reminder, our runners have to complete all 4 objectives to get the crystal. And then after that, you use the crystal to defeat Zeromus at the end. So a full night's work for our runners. And remember, underground is required to complete that sealed cave objective. So we got to get there eventually.
Yeah. They probably will be worth. We'll see. Probably some of our runners consider doing is the hairdryer's chest to get some XP. Maybe doing a few behemoths. There's not off the table. Like we may. Depend. So, and I'm not sure if our generous starting kit has some sirens. So if that is on the table, we'll probably we'll be seeing maybe some double dragons, King Ryu's for XP. We'll see we'll see what our runners will do, but those options will be on the table. I think hair dryers will probably be the favorite because you might have decent opportunity for loot.
How many Yongs in this seed? That is the fourth one I think we've seen. And that is a duplicate Yong, no help to Fiery Blizzard.
It's fine. This team is fine. We have a full team, and Edward, and that's it. That's good. Just I think we might see some peaking of some spots, but Fire Blizzard taking heed hair dryers because the XP is needed right now.
Yeah, that's Fiery Blizzard taking your advice, Deathlight, and going for that trap chest that we call the hair dryers because it kind of looks like for little hair dryers, even though they are given monstrously unpronounceable names. They are able to be hourglassed, and they do give a ton of XP and the chance at a really nice piece of loot. So a Fiery Blizzard needs an XP infusion at this point.
I think the names came out of cells. If I googled their names just because curiosity. They're supposed to represent cells of some sort. I don't know what exactly. But that was also a moon cell enemy also on the moon. But that's beside the point. They do look. It's the hair dryers. I don't know where they look, but when you see hair dryers, you see some kind of thing that sticks out from and these enemies blow poison on you. So the things that you remember about these enemies, that they poison you and poison. Some people like their poison, like they like poison stairs. The sound of poison. Unlike other games where in Final Fantasies where poison has a distinct sound. It's an interesting chime, and I always like trying to get rid of the poison because poison sucks.
So this party, Deathlike, you have Young and Kane as your two bruisers. You have your anchor in Eddie, and you have your two mages in Palom and Rosa. Are you happy with this party?
You're gonna live with it. I've done enough trigger seeds to say this is fine, and because look, you might not get a better character. You might not get a Crystal Sword Cecil. You might not get a Fu. You might have to live with this party. This is fine. So the aim here is to get to try to, if you're not leveling them all the way to like white and nuke, but at least getting your berserkers to a certain enough power level so that you can do hybrid strats, and that's good enough. This is some you won't, like there are ability seeds where you will not get characters that you want, and sometimes you have to make do with what you get. So, and this is as I said, this is fine. So just basically a defense sword is practically end game weaponry for Kane, barring a super smith that favors Kane, and one cat claw is mostly good enough. You can combine with whatever and I think it was a poison, so cat claw poison is more than enough for a Yang. This is like this you just kind of have to live with this party, and maybe it may be worth, like, say, doing a behemoth after doing this. It's as though fighting a behemoth is the most predictable of fights, and maybe worth doing because hey, all they do is counter punch and punch you if you're slow enough.
Yeah, it's certainly not a bad party, and it's certainly a party you can live with, and our runners have to live with. The only remaining character spots seem to be far away. There's one at the back of the giant. There's the Sand Ruby, which we don't know where that is, and then there's Dwarf Castle, which we don't know where underground access is. So while you're here, you have this opportunity to get this experience. You can mold this party into something that, as you said, you can use to defeat Z with a pretty reliable, pretty good hybrid strategy. So I think the time for wishing and hoping is over.
Oh, that's a bad boss. Bomb. While the HP is not probably nothing you have to chew through because that's split between all the uh parts of Bomb, as in the smaller bombs. But Bahamut spot super punchy because hey, you don't have to balance punchiness if a spot that only does magic normally. So that's that's the kind of thing that randomizers love because hey, that's fun.
Scythe Marshal is our final runner to go into the Steel Cave. Does get through the Dark Elf more quickly than the others did, but we should have one final rendition of music as Fiery Blizzard begins the descent into the lunar subterranean.
Yep. And here it is.
Fiery Blizzard doing his objectives. Scythe Marshal is through, will get his Darkness Crystal. Meanwhile, Fiery Blizzard is uh, doing his objectives and finding a very mean, very beefy, very punchy antlion in its natural habitat. Uh, hope Fiery Blizzard ate his Wheaties. He's going to need a lot of strength for this one.
Yep. Antlion migrates to the moon. Natural journey. You don't quite know how Antlion gets migrates that way. I mean, doesn't have wings. I mean, claws or wings. I don't know. But yeah, the Antlion. It's not too bad once you get Blink under control. The only thing that will get through are counterattacks, but since Yang and Kane are not triggering them because using their special attacks, with power and jump, it's not really affecting it's not triggering the counters. I mean, all the characters I don't Edward, not so much Edward, but even Rozak using aim would not trigger the counterattack. So a pretty safe fight once you get Blink on under control, and then I mean it'd be easier if there's a Cecil with a cover, one extra body, one extra less Blink to worry about. But this, although I think at this point trying to get everyone alive because XP at this spot while not having 10 key items for double XP will still be the strongest spot for XP surge.
Yeah, Fiery only has one Blink caster. Rosa did go down there. Yang currently unblinked, but Fiery hoping. Oh, and Yang is the one that got punched there. So Fiery will have to scramble a little bit more. All of our runners, meanwhile, abandoning that Baron basement, and Plumeria Knight abandoning Baron Castle altogether. But nobody wants to be involved with that Dark Elf. They are all going to the moon. It makes sense. There are 2 objectives up here. You do your objectives. But it is interesting that nobody even taking the risk.
I think in Sky's case, Marshall's case, probably feeling a little bit behind, given finding the darkness a bit late. So, so I think, and everyone being on the moon right now as we speak, it makes sense. So to try to make up time, we know that nothing, at least so far, from Baron Castle has gotten anything of worth. So I'm not entirely concerned about that. It makes sense, and Fiery not happy with whatever just happened because probably a potential party wipe, because it doesn't take much.
Yeah, Fiery was the victim of some board face AI as Antlion targeted everyone it needed to target, and Rybon had to reset out of Antlion as well. So that is now Antlion 3, runners nothing. This spot does not play around.
Yeah, so the reason why at some point Rosa is the one that is saving the entire party. If she's not alive, it's just one punch fall for the most part. Now, obviously, you can defend and hope to survive that, but that's gambling, and gambling not in your favor. So you need them to be alive. Edward is like the free punch dummy because he's the anchor, but ultimately getting blink on the characters, Fiery saying punch Palom, missed the blink, so missed the turn, and that could be just enough to make the party fall. Sometimes I'll still try, but I can understand. You lose a character that you wanted to get, who first deals the most damage, but also who's getting the protection that is required. That enough itself is a game changer. And Sky's doing a different thing. Getting a separate grind, which is a very safe grind. When you get cast mute, these warlocks are super free unless they are alone, where they will punch. Well, the solo one will punch and then use weak. So really, when they're together, they're not even a threat. You don't even need to stop. But it might take a while to kill them. As I think, I don't think Sky timed that out right. I think there was maybe Assassin Dagger and didn't get the proc.
Well, Fiery Blizzard and Rybon continuing to tangle with the Antlion. You could see the difference in battle speeds. The Antlion on Fire Blizzard's side moving much, much faster than the Antlion on Rybon's side. I believe that Rybon is on battle speed 3 here, while Fire Blizzard, I think, is still at battle speed 1. That really makes a big difference in getting your turns, and Rybon reset to kind of make that adjustment, and has blinks up on all of his characters. That matter is going pretty smoothly at this point. Fire Blizzard can make it there, but there's a lot less margin for error on his side.
Yeah, the battle speed, the default is in Free Enterprise is 1, the vanilla speed is 3, and 3 is a very safe speed. It gives you some reasonable amount of time to get your inputs, as every split second is time given to your enemy to fill their ATB and yours, but it helps the enemy more than you. And sometimes you actually want the time. And Plumeria getting the free cat claw. That's daring attempt to get a piece. I thought there was another cat claw, but probably did not raid the treasury though, because I was almost sure there was one in the treasury. Maybe thinking of different location, but yeah, that's That's a interest. At least attempt for loot. Try to get free loot, as there's plenty of non-trap spots.
So Plumerian Knight making the interesting decision to go to the Murasame altar first, which isn't an objective. Raibon through, gets the pass, gets the tower key. Both very useful items. No keyless tower today, at least on Raibon's side.
I suspect that we'll probably be having we're not going to have a keyless tower this day. And Plumero, I think this is the right idea, but unfortunately drew the kind of the worst outcome, as a lot of the spot has XP distributed and XP disappearing. So there's the Dr. Luge. Well, one of the easier fights to take on, generally free. And a lot of HP distributed, so the final form of Dr. Luge not gonna be the threat that it normally be. A lot of XP that kind of disappears because there just isn't XP for everyone.
Fiery Blizzard threw that antlion, and Raibon finding the exact opposite kind of challenge at the Murasame or the Masamune altar. This is Leviathan at a very high magic attack spot. You want to see Ice 2s do Bafo damage? They're going to come out.
Normally, the threat Leviathan provides is Big Wave, but you give Leviathan high spell multiplier, you see the insta-kill damage.
2,000! Kane goes down instantaneously. Goodness.
So yeah, the use of Star Veils, mostly trying to keep Yang alive, not so much Berserk. You want the finer control. You can still heal Kane. Still Yang with a cure potion, but having lit 3 solves a lot of problems and will eat up a lot. So just making sure Pelham is alive primarily, and everyone else, as long as they're not critical, which Kane unfortunately was just revived, which usually means that he's in critical. That needs. The Leviathan pretty much critical status usually means that you're quarter health, and Leviathan damage is max of your quarter of your maximum health. So that means death. So if you're shrugging, you need to be healed immediately, however much that is.
Raibon had to come into this race as one of the favorites. Fiery Blizzard has been ahead or step for step with Raibon pretty much this entire seed. And now they're both with the Leviathan, having both done half of their objectives. So Leviathan will make it 3 out of 4, and then both runners, if they get through this Leviathan, will only need to get underground access and a Luca key in order to have go mode. For a moment, I was gonna say 1200 strats might be a thing. We don't even have the Star Veils. Fire Blizzard needed to reset because that was too many casualties needed to reset. Raibon successfully dispatching Leviathan, hoping to get the direct requirement for Sealed Cave, as completing the Sealed Cave actually means you need to walk from the start, and disappointing outcome. Still not the required key. Might stay a while for more XP, just to get some XP before going back down. Scythe Marshal enters his fight. Plumerian Knight threw Dr. Luge, but I did not see what Plumerian Knight got for that fight.
It's an assassin dagger. It's an unfortunate one.
Yeah, that is not great. Not what the doctor ordered.
What? Death isn't a cure-all?
Well, it kind of goes against the first rule.
Do not harm?
Yeah.
But he's not that kind of doctor.
So Raibon going to continue to move up and finds Pale Dim hot desking it in the Lunar subterranean, just swapping offices.
Plague Spot not filled with HP, but with a Pale Dim Pale Dim still doing what Pale Dim does best: damage and punchiness and slowing all the things down when you heard it. That's
Yeah.
about yeah, the song. The song of its people.
Yeah.
There's only one sound, and it's the sound of sweet, slow lullabies.
Now, this spot does not have especially high magic power, but that doesn't matter for the slows. The slows won't really miss at this spot. But this spot does punch. Pale Dim is happy to oblige with that, but Rybon getting some blinks up seems to have things under control here.
Yeah, I mean, given I don't think there's any use of any valuable gear use up to this point in terms to defending against it. And ideally you would want a crystal ring or some piece of dragoon equipment, and I don't think any of that was found at any point. So so having the necessary gear for this fight is kind of difficult. But like all punch fights, Blink solves all problems most of the time. So and Quake Kid doing his thing. So that's where most of the offense is going to come from, not so much punching. Although it's whatever extra damage that can be contributed is nice.
Yeah, how much healing does Blake save? Like, that's the easiest way to heal, is just not to get hit in the first place. Fiery Blizzard is through. And gratefully takes the walk back to the save room. Will presumably follow Rybon into the Vanilla Plague spot that holds a Pale Dim. Rybon through that Pale Dim and gets the hook. Will the hook bring Rybon back to the blue planet, or will Rybon clear out the moon?
Would probably still look
he is walking immediately to that Crystal Sword altar.
Yeah, if there's a chance of the magma key being up here, you might as well. We know that Mura has the assassin dagger, which is worthless for this. So it's whatever it's Mom Bomb at Cave Bahamut, or this spot for having potential of having magma key. Worst case, the magma key is somewhere underground because it can. At this point,
it could be in the tower key, and it could be in the super cannon. That's certainly a possibility. There's no guarantee the magma key is up on the moon.
It would be nice though. It's nice because if you're required to do, even though it's like a kind of a speed bump at this point to fight the spots required, I think just doing this just for the XP, you're gonna get the most XP up here before going back down, so you might as well. There's kind of very few downsides, and just need the wall on Azura so that she can't heal herself, and though up to a point Cure 4 stops healing maximum once you deal a little more than 16,000 HP worth of damage. So Final Fantasy 4 things.
This spot will still punch if and when Rybon delivers a hit, but if a Cure 3 accidentally slips through that wall, not the worst thing in the world. The magic power at this spot is laughable.
Yeah, it's not magic defense. It's Wyvern spell power. Well, everyone remembers Blarg as being being a pain in the rear because Blarg hurts, but the Blarg has a high spell power. The Wyvern doesn't have a high spell multiplier. That's the thing. So the Cure 4 is essentially Tele level, and Cure 3. I think Tele could actually do better than this.
Wow, that's the most insulting thing I think Ashura has ever heard in her entire life. And so the good thing about Ashura is she will not attack until you attack her, unless you wait like ages. Then she might start attacking. She will heal herself and do all of that stuff, but it's only once you start attacking that she'll launch into those really painful punches. So Rybon has plenty of time to get the blinks up before starting to deal out the damage.
The thing about Azure is really she just all her offense is really just counter punching. When you do damage, she will punch you. So the thing about Azure is you can do whatever you want to set up. Like you can in this fight you could have spent maybe like a turn or two bluffing Palom while you maybe get a slow cast before doing the wall, so that wall lasts a little bit longer. That would you could do some few things to Azura before start piling on her. So it's one of those spots where you can kind of strategize and plan. You don't have to attack until you're ready, and it's a thing you can do for certain fights.
Scythe Marshal through the Leviathan fight as well, going to tangle with his Pale Dim. Plumeria Knight taking things backwards a little bit, took care of the Pale Dim, has his hook, and is now ready to fight in this ribbon room and encounter the very punchy Antlion, which is my least favorite children's book.
The punchy Antlion?
The very punchy Antlion.
Speaking of things that we thought could possibly happen, found the thing we actually wanted.
We can get underground now.
Again.
Yeah, Rybon making that extra check, and it pays off big time.
Yeah, we're not even looking for the Mura altar. We have underground X's, but still doesn't really know. But we still actually need the Luca key. So that's still that still could be actually at cave value. We know that the Mura altar doesn't have it, so right, and it could actually be under Baron. In the dark elf spot, so that is also an option. But I think that just diving underground outright is probably the plan. But there's just and I don't remember if the warp glitch is on. But even if the warp glitch is on, the Luca key cannot be on the warp crystal, because that would be out of logic.
Yeah, the warp glitch is not on. The back row glitch, the Sylph glitch, the life glitches are the only toggleable glitches that are on in this flag set. But the big thing is that Rybon leaving 2 key item checks up on the moon, leaving 1 key item check on the on the surface of the blue planet. Instead, is going to go for all those checks in the underground. Does have the tower key in hand, so has 2 in that tower. Can set up the Sheila check, can go to Dwarf Castle. There are 2 more bosses in the underground, so really that's where the checks are.
I think Tower seems more appealing than Doom Dwarf at this point, and I would be in favor of completely fading Fey March, but Rybon might be saying, no, you know what, strong enough, I'll just take him on, don't care, bring him on. So we'll see what the bosses of that spot are, because there are still a few left that can be devastating. Though I can't think of any off the top of my head. I think we've seen Dark Elves, Baigan, basically whatever could be the most punchy at that spot. Still, most of them have been dispatched.
We haven't seen Ogopogo yet.
That's still plenty scary. I don't. How about Evil Wall? Let's hope for Evil Wall.
A nice pan from the free chest there. And while Rybon is going to check out the King Queen, do want to thank our restreamer Dathis and our tracker Possum Morpheus. That is a Karate Man. That is Magus Sisters in the Fey March, and Rybon not interested. Gonna go chase that pan instead.
Well, Magus is just technically free. The punching only is done by the middle sister. The magic spot is actually weaker than you'd think. Leviathan does Ice 2s from the actual Leviathan spot. Not very high, unlike the Ogopogo spot where Leviathan was at this seed. radically higher. So that's and a much bigger threat. So, but probably wasn't interested. I mean, there's plenty of key item checks. We were really looking for the key for the Luca key. So, having more
Yep.
options just for that is the thing to do.
Yep. Ideally for Rybon, Yang would give the Luka key to him now. Instead, it's just another defense sword. Both Fiery Blizzard and Scythe Marshal kind of bogged down in this Ashura fight.
It is kind of a slow fight because there's no mage killing gear like the mute knife or rune axe that have been picked up. So that it slows the process down. So it's fine. It's just not as fast. And you know what? It's okay whether the fights aren't as fast. I mean, it could be worse. You could be like fighting D-Mist, and D-Mist at that spot would have been not much slower than this. So this is fine.
So Deathlike and chat, where do you want this Luka key to be?
We'll find out what Rhyme turns in the pan. Finds Vanilla Spoon. Congrats.
Yay. More vanilla, and that is an instant reset to go back underground. But
at this point, I would say last locationing. So let's say Mom Bomb, because that's the least sexy spot, on the option. Like this,
yeah.
Like who wants to fight Mom Bomb with that super punch in this? Because that brings no joy. So I think that will probably be the best, my favorite spot for the current set of last locationing options.
So Scythe Marshal did not get through that Ashura, and instead of trying it again, decides to take his hook, go back down to the blue planet. So Scythe going to do the hook route. So really unfortunate for Scythe. You know, cutting his losses. You don't want to throw good money after bad, but that Ashura just had the magma key behind it, and Scythe is going to lose a little bit of time here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but at this point, you've got enough power to overwhelm whatever is the speed bump at King Queen Eblin or the Ruby Cut spot when you do the hook route. So this isn't a problem. It's just more of a speed bump. But hey, we get to see who's with the characters. Maybe might do a late character switch to swap out Edward for maybe a new anchor or something. We'll see what that is. But maybe oh yeah, I forgot. Let's say shops would be worth it, except oh wait, there's still cabins.
Yeah. That was a vanilla Rubicant in the second spot that Scythe is going to encounter soon. Rybon showed us that at the top of the tower. And the dolls at the top of the tower not going to be a problem for Rybon at these levels. This spot can be a little tricky just with the high HP, but that is a Quake, and that is an instant kill.
So dupe Quake Kid and not Sand Ruby. Nope, not what Rybon's looking for. Although still, I think on the cusp of getting 10 key items, if I'm not mistaken. So so not critical, but hoping for the super cannon spot, holding what is required as if obtaining the Luca key in Rybon's case would be the 10th key item for double XP. And look, it's not the boss. The boss I really wanted at a different spot, but hey, it's the best spot to be in if you're a runner.
Scythe, meanwhile, seeing another duplicate character. That's a duplicate Palom on the hook route. So, Sand Ruby, Dwarf Castle, and Giant, I think officially, 2 out of 3 of those have to be a new character that we haven't seen yet.
I'm trying to remember if this flex that guarantees all the characters. I kind of think it does, but it's
he maybe is not on, and he so, just thinks 7 is on. So we're gonna see 7 of them. Where they show up is anybody's guess.
It's probably one behind Giant at this point. We're just kind of reserved to like. It's probably a Cecil or Fu or something like that, and whatever. That's the just you're not even. No, none of the runners are going to consider that. That's just not going to happen. So that's off the table. But but at this point, I don't think. But we're set with our characters regardless, unless random mop shows up. There just isn't a character to replace the current party. There is kind of nothing really worthwhile at this point, and because right now you've kind of done your grind. You don't think of doing the LSD as a grind, but for many runners, especially when you're doing Moon this early, if you've done the Moon, you've practically done a grind.
And another fetch quest for Rybon gets the rat tail from the super cannon room. Fiery Blizzard, meanwhile, decides Mom Bomb, not for him, is going to leave that on the moon as well. So, Rybon has some checks to make. Will activate that hook and go check that rat tail out. Could this be the key to what he's looking for?
Well, it still has to unlock the hovercraft, which could have been done ages ago. But sometimes you might want to loot Dempsey, and even one thing on Under T Pro, hoping for some J items early. But at this point, nothing worth looting at this point. Just hadn't done it. It happens. You don't have to it's a popular thing to get the hovercraft early. Just to get it open, get it out of the way, but it's only usually on the way of looting. But if you're not looting there, then it is what it is. You made a decision, and hoping for hey, some more vanilla.
And so Scythe is through that Rubicant as well. Rybon seeing a dancing sparkle in Dwarf Castle. We've seen... so this either has to be Wyvern or Ogopogo.
Wyvern would be actually bad. It'd be a bad surprise. So Ogo would be the least problematic of the spot. So hello, welcome, surprise. Got very fortunate. This is the one you actually, because if it was Blarg and if you're not prepared for it, it's an immediate wipe. So and this the Cal Brenner spot has a surprising amount of spell power. So that means that Blarg, if that were here, would immediately annihilate this party, quad 9s, no questions asked. So sometimes, if the commentator's curse and commentator's fortune, this is complete fortune, because there's a 50-50 chance it could have been the worst outcome. So just from seed knowledge.
Rybon through Dark Knight Cecil is the second spot here. Should have enough HP in the tank to quickly dispatch of that.
That isn't even the threat, though. It's not even really the threat, because at this spot, the Golba spot doesn't punch very hard. Edge is going. We've figured out her party. It's too late. It's too late for you, Edge. We don't even have weapons for you. See that tickle? And
yep.
Probably the only Yang might not live the third wave, but it probably doesn't matter. Well, we could. I don't think bosses were. I think bosses were free, but the Quake was okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
wait.
too late to take more guys. It's too late. So Rybon says no to Edge, and then says no to Cecil in a different way. Fiery Blizzard gets through the 6th Yang that we've seen in this seed. This time on the enemy side gets a nice hat. Not what he was looking for.
Would have been a better thing much earlier, but we're past that point that we needed a glass helmet. That's a little unfortunate part of the value of an item changes. The seed goes on, and this is vanilla. Yeah, so you had to. This is the
Luca, what's that around your neck? Oh, it's the Luca key. Huh? We could have guessed that, I suppose. Rybon in the driver's seat in go mode.
Yeah, that's I mean, there's always so Fade March was in full effect for Rybon because who wanted to spend time dealing with two boss fights that may not have panned out. I mean, it was it's a gamble. I mean Rybon also did Pan, which also didn't pan out. So that's the kind of deal with the randomizer. You just sometimes the least exciting thing could have been my favorite, my preferred spot, Mom Bomb, but Mama. I mean, this is fine. This is fine.
You're seeing the quality that Rybon has because Rybon's made so many checks. Rybon's checked the rat tail. Rybon's checked the pan. Rybon even checked Sheila, or I beg your pardon, even checked top of tower. And reset out of that, just ruthlessly efficient in what he's doing. Now he needs to top off his levels, so he's going to encounter some trapdoors.
I mean, there's only 3 required trapdoors in the sequence of things, so I think this makes sense. And see life 2. So Rosa's at level 42, I think. Yeah, 42. So 48 is white, so still not in the ideal spot. Well, still going to go after enough trapdoors to get 10 key items. I think 10 key items. So having at the optimal spot for double XP. Though there's only a few trapdoors that have the that give the egg monster, which is a yellow dragon. The normal monster is actually the Manticore, which actually gives more XP than the trapdoor. But we want the trapdoors to do the work for us.
So Scythe Marshal completing the tower, going back up to the surface of the blue planet to turn in his rat tail. Fiery Blizzard just got a legend sword from the Fey March and will do his pan checks. All of these kind of key items drawing our runners further away from the actual intent of the seed, which is just to go to Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, Dwarf from what's left is kind of like the next worst thing out in terms of key item opportunities, but it's quicker to get at just the one option, just because we don't have the warp glitch, so and obviously we can't warp glitch the item because the Luca key can't be on the Darkness Crystal pedestal for any reason because it's impossible. So those it's kind of the worst. It's kind of the least ideal option of them all of what's left. Oh, next to Mom Bomb, so it's like the second to worst. So, and Rybon's trying to maybe just see if it's a calculated gamble because those two summon spots don't really are probably about the same length given what was there. It's just like you had 2 boss fights either way, just 2 key items versus 1, and then this is the gamble is which one do you want to deal with?
Scythe got in a battle in the underground. Someone reached out and grabbed it. It was a rock larva.
Are we stealing silk webs? There are some times where you actually want there's only the usual one monster. I think it's one of the centipede type monsters, and you steal a silk web from them when you use this, and that's. They're the most rare encounter in certain kind of the Dwarf Castle area. It's like the Tomra sections, but not the egg grinding section, I think. So the egg grinding section is there's a very small land, pieces of land that have the eggs that spawn for the regular grinds that our runners tend to do in certain seeds. This not being one of them, but maybe that given that you can't buy anything worthwhile, Silk Web is actually valuable.
Yeah, the most common place to find those centipede enemies are outside of Kokol's Forge, and I don't know if Scythe used a Siren outside of the Fame Archer, if he just had encounters on for some reason, but that's where that rock larva came from. And Scythe Marshal's still looking for something, because getting into this warrior's chest, it's a very quick fight now with the RA1, with that Quake Kid up in the top spot. So hoping to get something valuable. A White Spear, that's something.
It's that's kind of a side grade. Like the White Spear is 109 attack power, 80% accuracy. Defense Sword is, I think it was 105 attack power with 90% accuracy. So you're trading one thing for a different set of functionality. It's like Kane's like best weapons ultimately are like side grades, and you pick which one is the most functionally useful, and my bias is to the Dragoon Spear, because hey, you know how many dragons you kill in Final Fantasy IV? A lot.
Plumeria Knight finally getting around to defending Fabul. It's nice that Fabul held out as long as it did against those elements, but Plumeria Knight finally to the rescue. That self-summon utterly useless to him, and Plumeria Knight going back to the underground to reset.
This is one of those seeds where Fade Fabul, if you were team Fade Fabul, you would have won.
Yeah, absolutely unessential.
But that's that can't be the same every seed. So we'll see what's at the end. There aren't too many bosses left that actually are threatening. Assassin's Dagger being a joke item at this point, because I'm disappointed when you get I would call it garbage tier at this point. Although we can't actually let that Bahamut do its thing, because it actually at this spot. It's immediate annihilation, as for whatever reason, the Evil Wall spot has incredible magic spell power, to the point where Rubicant Glare is quad 9s, or at least really close to that. So yeah, but it's still quick enough, because this spot usually just eats damage, and see, Nuke is better than Mega Nuke, allegedly.
Yeah, so now you see why Rybon was taking those doors out. Nuke solves a lot of problems, and Rybon does not need to go back to the moon. Rybon has Crystal in hand and has the pass ready to go face Zeronis.
We'll be seeing multiple uses of Warp. I like to use 4 casts, but you can use less. Walk this, use Warp here. You can do it I think a minimum of 4. You need to walk a little bit. Like this section is pretty short. This section is fairly short as well. So this is gonna be a 3rd cast, and then 1 more cast, and it's easy to get out. Warp is a really cool spell.
It is really neat. As a reminder, there are 9 runners overall, 5 off screen in addition to the 4 on stream. No finishers as yet, so as far as we know, Rybon in position to pick up the win overall. Rybon has been very efficient, very ruthless in his dealing, as he usually is.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. No, door grind sounds like fun. It's like those fun things. It's rarely done, because there's just the opportunity isn't there. And this seed says, "Hey, best grind, door grind. Just like, do you want to do D machine? Can't you do D machine? Mac giant grind? No, that sounds silly. But I think it's that time of the night. I think you should have this sheep launcher.
Okay. Do you have a pass? Why, yes, we do. And what is on the other side of this pass? Well, it's a big, scary, the boss guy who always shows up here. And we can't really move Zeromus around. He's just not going to move for us. Too big, too smelly. But we do like to give Zeromus a makeover. And so, to that effect, we do like to ask whenever we get to this stage of the game, whose butt are we going to kick tonight? And Rybon staring down that flame at just past the hour 30 mark.
I would almost think it's more of like hair, like Fu has radical hair. Well, that's I feel like it's Z. I mean, the technology wasn't there yet, but he has some flaming hair, and you can see Z. It's like a ball of. It's like a mop, like a reverse mop. It's the hair is immaculate. That's just what it is. It's hard to imagine, but if you just for a moment, imagine.
Just like the Werewolves of London, his hair is perfect. Ah! And Posimus.
Someone's favorite boss in Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. The guy that can reflect spells back at you, because because it's fair, totally fair when it can, where you don't get that opportunity, but they can, and the fun thing, it's full damage back at you regardless of resistance. It's the Zuzu, that guy.
Looks like a lot of fun. But Rybon going to go with the hybrid strats here, reflect whites and nukes off himself, punch with Yang and Kane. Eddie doing his thing, which is just making sure that they're still up in space. Yep, still there.
I mean, Eddie's doing his thing. He's contributing. All you need to do is be present, even if be present and napping the whole time. Because turns that you don't want to use, you might as well be dead. That's just, and that's fine. It looks in the party composition, the party arrangement looks strange. It's probably more for getting the turns, the intended turns, the way that Rybon's expecting. Not so much that, even though Kane, I don't think this flags it. The back row glitch is enabled, and even then, if that were the case, I don't think a dwarf axe was found. So Kane isn't gonna do much. Yang isn't gonna do much. It's really just gonna be full reflect because reflected spells don't trigger counterattacks. It's a feature for reasons, probably because coding can be difficult, at least in this era. It's not as simple as it's easier in modern times, but much more difficult in the time that this game was created.
And there is the crumble. Rybon has done it. Rybon finishes with an official time of 1:33:10, which is good for second place. In first place, just beating him to the line off stream, is Pirelli. First place with a time of 1:32:14. But GG's to Rybon.
GG's to Rybon. I'm actually almost surprised, but then when you consider there are a lot of early traps in time that runners could have avoided, like Baron or any of the football related checks, like the pan, like it's not impossible to imagine someone running faster, because sometimes if you don't do certain things, you save time, and that can be punishing in some instances where you could have done that. Maybe that check would have saved you time, and in this case, we know there's just so many things in a randomizer that you're gonna fall into a rabbit hole, eat some time, because it's just the natural state of running a seed.
And it's worth noting that Pyre was very instrumental in the last couple tournaments. Also very good at free enterprise. So certainly not something that Rybon did. Rybon ran a really great race. Pyre just a minute better on this night. And so Rybon not going to join us for an interview tonight, but GG's to Rybon for a heck of a race, and just got beat to the line, but by Pyre, but Rybon first place on the restream, and it looks like Plumeria Knight and Fiery Blizzard about to collect their Luca keys, and they will be off, knowing what they have to do.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's we're towards the end of the seed. There's just I think most runners are more or less collecting, or at least doing something adjacent to Dwarf Castle. So it's it's obviously awesome when you're bought at the same time. But if you're not, that's okay too. There's just a lot of runners have run many seeds, and if you're new to the randomizer, you can always drop by the Discord, and talk with people who can discuss things with you, to help you out, learn facets about the randomizer that even people like me, just like I play enough seeds. I don't know everything in the randomizer. There's just so many things that you can turn on, toggle, and tinker, and generate seeds like this, or easier, harder, doesn't matter. The kind of seeds that you desire. So hop on the Discord and see what's up.
Yeah. Side Marshal also check out the Baron basement. Even before the spoiler log on Rybon's side, we're putting together that the Pink Tail has to be behind that Mom Bomb in Cave Bahamut. No adamants on in this seed, so it wouldn't have even given an adamant armor. That definitely would not have been worth it for anyone, but that's where that Pink Tail is.
So, Fiery Blizzard learning the finer points of, here's the monster behind it. There's more experience to be received, but a lot more risky.
That Blaze does not play around.
Yeah, Blaze is quarter, just like Big Wave, except it's actually elemental, ice elemental. It looks like fire, but is actually ice. Just like a lot of Stranger Things, like a dark elf. The Dark Breath looks like ice, is actually fire. Final Fantasy IV things.
And Plumeria Knight being a little bit cautious here with this. Bahamut does not have nuke on the kid. So we'll get to the end of this countdown for Bahamut will Starveil this Mega Nuke back onto that dragon.
Fun tricks is that you can cast slow. When you have multiple walls on, you can stack multiple slow effects on Bahamut, although only realistically you only really need 2, but just for fun, if you actually want to stack 2 slows without having a Silic Web, that's an option. But that was a lot of overblarg.
Yeah, that Bahamut is extra toasty, but Plumeria Knight, our second runner on stream to have a crystal.
Probably may consider doing a little longer of a grind, trying to get nuke, and what nuke being probably the harder to get, I think. Yeah, because Rosa will learn White level 48 much faster than Pelham at level 52. It's not, though. It's still not too. It's not too much. It's not like a lot of experience, but it's sizable at this point.
Scythe Marshal about to get his Luca key as well. We'll see what Scythe wants to do with regard to levels. And if you're Plumerian Knight here, Deathlike, are you comfortable with your levels right now?
I think Scythe has been behind the whole time. Maybe, I mean, I can't look into the mind of the race. Sometimes, maybe you want to just go for it for the sake of going for it, like just the old college try, as they say. So maybe you just go with it, but probably go for a few levels. I mean, the grind is there. I mean, you have the objective at Sealed Cave. If there's a grind, this is the best place to do it. What are your better options at this point? You can't buy sirens. You could probably steal them. Do you want to do Mac Giant grind? Nah.
Well, Plumerian Knight more comfortable, I think, doing the trap chest in Sylph Cave, because that's where he's going. Got 2 Maul Balls in the very first one, and these 2 centipedes more to his liking. But yeah, Plumerian Knight a little bit under leveled. That Palom only at level 46, I believe. So yeah, we'll need some more levels.
Well, then this is not the monster to give you it. They don't give. This is it's usually the ghosts that give the most. It sounds like a Beetlejuice reference, because it is. Because there's 6 of them. There's 2 of and we don't have an edge. So, but we do have an edge in the seed. We did find them, but no one's gonna pick them up. Stealing would have been nice, but then that means second grind for a character that's picked up late, and that was not a thing. You think about. I think that's a poor Rybon. Rybon decides Porum can stay sleeping, because we didn't actually need her.
Yeah, and Rybon wanted to wake up that Porum after he completed the seed to see, to make sure it was really her. But you could tell in the bed, the ponytail is on the opposite side of their handedness. So Porum is right-handed, the ponytail is on the left-hand side when she's lying in the bed. But that is your 7th character, and Rybon wanted to wake her up, but did not have a Sand Ruby to do so.
Forget where the Sand Ruby was, but I think everyone reset out of that. I think it was top of tower, top of Babel, from the underground side. So that that's a non-starter. A white mage this late, even especially because you've gone through the moon. Like, oftentimes, if you've gone through the moon, there's no very unlikely chance that you'll pick up a new character. It just isn't. I'm sure I said it earlier, but it's more of a characters. When you pick up late, you want them to A, easily levelable, and B, you haven't grinded yet, or C, already have everything of whatever you need. And usually Fu fits that category to a T, because you don't do anything.
And Plumerian Knight is done with grinding, going to make the plunge right now and go to Zeromus. Gonna try and steal 3rd place. Plumerian Knight spent a little bit of this seed behind, but he is the 2nd runner on stream to appear at Zeromus. Will not have that as easy a fight with Rybon as Rybon did. But if he can pull this off, the reward will be great. I
mean, yeah, when you're trying to compare against the top of the speedrunners, it's very difficult, because you have a lot of optimizing to do. But on average, this is pretty good. We're like 10 minutes, and probably another 5 minutes for the Z fight. This is, if you're on average, it's pretty good. It is lot of, you know, it's easy to pay attention to the minutia, but sometimes it's just the standard routing, doing the little things to get where you need to go. It can often get you there. So this is pretty good. Getting at least on average, this is where many of our runners will be at, give or take a few rankings or two. It's fine. It's good.
Plumeria Knight uses the crystal to turn Zeromus into Pazuzu, and now we'll be looking to kick some Pazootie.
So the Boreas is only there meant to just to nerf the first Big Bang. First Big Bang is the easiest to nerf because you just need to do any sort of magic, offensive, even if it's, I think healing. Well, at least healing items can trigger, because it's the act of healing is considered a magic attack, because virtually all items are essentially spells. In a different way, not so. And so this also guarantees that Edward takes a nap, because he hasn't been gaining any levels. That's fine. Sometimes you don't have to kill him initially. Just let the nerf Big Bang still doing enough damage, because top damage of the nerf Big Bang is 1200, but even half that is still pretty devastating to a low-level Edward.
Side Marshal's Palom, by the way, at level 51, the worst. And he'll be hoping to get that kid over the hump with this Pommet fight.
I think this probably should be enough to get the level. Even if you don't have Nuke, Quake is usually often enough. Virus. I think maybe if we slow down Bahamut enough, that might be doable. You can reach a slow enough level where your berserkers eat up a lot of the turns, so Bahamut, the boss never gets to count for its turn. So just perfect timing for Nuke that didn't really need for that fight. Isn't that nice?
Yes, did get just enough XP to get that Nuke, does get his crystal, and he will be on his way to Zeromus shortly. And yeah, that kid for Plumeria Knight does not have Nuke, trying to bounce viruses off onto Z with varying degrees of effectiveness here.
You might as well let the Quake kid try to contribute. You just do reflected stuff. If he dies, so be it. And even if the spell is casted on a dead Palom, it disappears into an ether. But that's a wipe for Rosa. So let the automation just put down the controller for a while until Black Hole shows up. And speaking of it, it shows up. So time to revive and heal dramatically, because the next Big Bang might be the last one Plumeria can take.
Yeah, Plumeria needs to scramble here to try and recover, use these turns to get people up and healed before that next Big Bang comes out. But that direct nuke on Yang is going to take him down. Oh, he survived.
No, that's what Yang is for. Just have enough HP to survive. That's all that takes. And that's very fortunate. Q4 should be able to hit everyone. Oh no, that was a single target. Target. That was a misselection. That's unfortunate. So, Plumeria is trying to run buffer his way to victory, because he needs those turrets to work for him. So run buffering allows that the ATB on your side to kind of speed up a little bit compared to the boss. So it's tech that is used sometimes early game, but when you're in your dire need to get turns in, Cure 4 is an insta cast spell. So Kane got his turn and gets perfect Cure 4. That is fortunate.
A great scramble and recovery from Plumeria Knight. Meanwhile, Fiery Blizzard having a fine time with this Z fight. that his Young also takes a direct nuke and shrugs it off. This Big Bang will come out. I don't think it is nerfed.
That might move Rosa from the equation. Oh no, got
Oh, it is
nerfed.
nerfed.
That's good. So that's fine.
Yeah.
This is good enough. Still healed the boss, but who cares? People are alive. That is all that matters. Yeah. I mean, the nuke, maximum damage from the spell, and I see rocks on
Mary Knight's
Yeah.
side. Intermedio phase, the final phase of the fight. If he can survive, he's a little sketchy on HP, trying to throw out some Cure 2 items.
That's fine. This is Yang will save it. We'll just Yang or Kane will save it. Well, mostly Yang. More likely Yang because he does
Rocks
way
on
more
Fire
damage.
Blizzard side as well. Can he pull it out?
Just let
So
Berserkers
close.
do it.
So close. And Plumerionite has done it. Plumerionite finishes in 3rd place with a time of 1:50.07. GG's to Plumerionite.
GG's to Plumeria. Using some tech at lower levels. I mean, something you can't. You're asking for the world, and at least using all the tech available to to kind of almost draws a defeat into victory. I mean, it's like the reverse. It was dire for a moment there.
And Fiery Blizzard takes care of the Jerkbird in the best way with a nuke to the face. Fiery Blizzard finishing in 4th place with a time of 1:50.35 officially. GG's to Fiery Blizzard as well. We'll see if we can get both these runners in for an interview. And we are joined actually by Plumerionite. GG's.
Oh, thanks. Holy crap.
So, what a Z fight. You had to scramble to recover that one. How did you keep your composure while Z was breathing down your neck there?
Well, run buffering helped a lot. It would have helped if I didn't try to cure for Edward there, though. That would have helped even more.
If you if you do everything perfectly, then there's no suspense. It's no fun.
That's true. Kind of like my early Baron Castle play, where I did not get through Baigen there.
Yeah, you had a little bit of a rough early game with running into Baigen and Baron Castle. You had a couple of wipes early on. How did you feel about your early game? How did you find your foothold?
Oh, the early game was really bad. I thought I could get Palin through the castle. I thought I had plenty of J items for that Baigen fight too. And, man, I think I messed up just a little bit casting the Direct Fire 2 on the body. Probably should have used, just started off with the J items and then maybe tried to reflect the spell for the final blow. So it would have kept more characters alive for longer.
Yeah, that's it. I think that spot is actually more difficult because the Kanazo spot for Baigen does actually have magic defense worth speaking of. So that you saw I'm sure you saw the numbers, and level 2 elementals don't cut it. They're because I just even I know that spot well enough that level 2 elementals are not enough. You needed essentially virus, and I don't think you had virus at the time.
No, I didn't have virus. Couldn't open with that.
Yeah, it's a difficult. It's like a kind of trickier spot given the situation. It's like you didn't, and I think I'm sure if you went a different route, like maybe went through Mount Deals, get a few more levels, that would have been
for sure.
That would have been something else.
Yeah, probably would have been more sensible, but I thought might be an interesting play. I thought I wasn't afraid of most of the bosses that could be there, but that happened to be one that I didn't really want to see. At that point, I just had to try it because I had done so much menuing and so much looting. So,
but you went on to recover very well. You had one of the more efficient and interesting moons that we saw on
Oh my goodness.
Restream.
Yeah, started with Mom Bomb and noped out of that real quick. As soon as Yang went down, I knew there was no recovery, so that at least I was able to just permanently fade and left a save up there once I was in looking for the Luca key and got all my XP.
Yeah, you didn't do the objectives first, but I think the levels you got from Dr. Luge and others on the moon really helped you out in those tough Leviathan and Antlion fights.
Yeah, and with the key item situation, I knew unless, there was an underground key item on the blue planet somewhere, that you were pretty much going to have to full clear the moon, regardless. At least to get the XP for this party. So.
Yeah, at least it was great that the key items you needed were both for getting the underground were both on the moon. I mean, I mean, who wanted to go to the speed bump that is the hook route?
Yeah, that would have been pretty rough too, probably.
Yeah, that was a really tough flag set that you deployed expertly. So how did you approach running this kind of flag set?
This one, boy, I really just wanted characters out of the gate. Just because Edward and Yang aren't very good early. Getting that Palin was good, and then getting Kane, and obviously I think Rosa made the whole seed kind of click finally. I don't know if maybe she was in Baron too, but I think doing that gave me a leg up on the rest of the seed.
You're never going to believe it. Baron was another duplicate Yang.
You know what? I do believe it.
Baron was Kane.
Okay, well, decent, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think you need that, Rosa. Well, I appreciate the restream and GG's, everyone. That was quite a race.
Yeah, GG's Plumerian Knight once again, and congratulations on your third place finish.
Thank you.
GG's again, Plumeria.
Thanks.
And we are joined now by Fiery Blizzard, our fourth place finisher. GG's.
GG's.
And before we get going, Fiery, I just want to say GG's to Side Marshall finishing in 6th place with a time of 1:56.22, and Microcorgs finishing in 5th place with a time of 1:54.10. GG's to both of them. But Fiery, you had yourself one heck of a race. You were step for step with Rybon a lot of the way. You came out like a house on fire in the early game. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was sort of, what did I want to do? I saw Yang and Baron, because I was like, okay, I want to see if there are any other characters around, because Edward Yang, not terribly great to start. Saw Yang there, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to dip into Eblin Castle and see if I can find something. And then, yeah, I mean, Cat Claw, Black Belt, I think Black Belt was from Baron. And that's really all you needed. And Dancing Dagger is like, I guess Edward gets to stay alive for a little bit. And then the Yangs just kept on coming. So.
Yeah, I thought you were the only one. Did you loot Baron? I think you were the only one who thoroughly looted Baron, or am I mistaken? I think you.
I looted the inn and the outside pots.
No, that's still no. Hey, you get what you get. There's no shame. T Pro being what it is, you probably were kind of. I'm sure you were hoping for some decent gear at some point. even
that black belt from Baron Inn, I was very happy with that black belt. So, I mean, yeah, it's really the overworld was just sort of get power to get through things and then figure it out and see what characters you get. Seed was generous enough to give us a white mage. Otherwise, that moon would have been... I'm not entirely sure what that antlion would have done. Bad things. It did bad things anyways, so...
Yeah, what do you think of that party the Seed kind of forced you to have, with Edge and Forum not coming until much, much later?
Oh, there was a Forum. No, it was I mean, generous party enough. I mean, once you get levels, which if you're going to the moon, you're going to get levels. Um, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, if it was Monday's party, which didn't have a white mage, that would have been a little bit more difficult. So, I mean, the seed was generous enough to give us a white mage this time.
That's always nice of it to do. And
I mean, I enjoyed K unsafe hitting. It's always nice to have that hit. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't a terribly easy seed, but it also wasn't terribly difficult. I think I handled the early game very well, and then the middle game on the moon is just sort of. I thought I was doing fine on that antlion fight. I think I was very close to killing it, and then I just happened to get a double hit on Rosa and a hit on Kane, and that's all I needed. Just 3 hits in a row, took it out.
Yeah, that antlion definitely knew where the threat was coming from, and definitely targeted the wrong people for you. So a bit of an unfortunate wipe there, and then there were just some slogs up on that moon, but everybody had to deal with those.
Yeah, I figured no one was going to take that mom bomb. It just, like, it's not going to happen. You see that in K-Fight, you're just like, I'm going to do literally everything else.
But it would have been beautiful if it were. But yeah, I think the moon bump is it's always an issue. Like you don't have quite have the party or the levels sometimes to fight outright. Like were you thinking about trying to take like other fights before? Like we know the objectives, the ribbon room and the Ogopogo spot, but would you thinking of trying to find ways of getting levels just to kind of get things moving, make things a little bit easier on yourself?
Oh, I mean, 100% headed down the moon. I was thinking if Ribbon Room was going to be awful, then I'd just look around for, I mean, 5 of the 7, actually, all but 2 of the trap chests on the moon, on the LST, would have been perfectly fine. We had hourglasses, we had Blink on a white, with a white mage. That's why I took the hair dryer. So I was absolutely thinking if I needed to, I'd take the behemoths and I'd take the warlock carries and the red giants. But just turned out it wasn't really necessary for this seed.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I'm sure like it's just one of those keep in the back of the mind if things didn't go the way you wanted to.
Yeah, it's come up before on this flag set too. The last time K unsafe hit. Just with there was a dark elf ribbon. By far the best thing to do would have just to leave and come back with some power, because there turned out to be a crystal sword right in the LST. So, and an Avenger. But no, I mean, I generally like taking trap chests in the LST for a bit of power. If it's necessary, I don't mind it, especially when you have hourglasses in hand. A lot of them end up being free, and you can get some life glitches out, and then you suddenly have 100,000 EXP on a life glitch on a warlock carry. So I enjoyed this flag set. So,
well, good. Any final thoughts you have on this seed or on the flag set or on anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, the last comment I have about the seed is I really should have realized who rolled this and where I should have gone immediately underground, instead of avoiding the one place that has the Luca key in vanilla. Would have saved myself a lot of time. But instead, not quite the 28 out of 28, just the 27 out of 28, but there's always next time. So let me thank you, Sheep, and thank you, Deflight, for commentating. Possum for, even though you're forgetting exactly when you press the button to track, pressing the buttons to track and not eating them, of course. And Daphis for the restream and the vanilla Luca key. And with that, I'll let you guys get going. Have a good night.
Yeah, GG's once again to Fire Blizzard, our 4th place finisher tonight. And we are joined by Side Marshal, our 6th place finisher. GG's.
GG's. That was the seed.
Well, thank you for showing us the hook route.
You're welcome. I didn't want to do Ashura because that fight sounded awful. because I had no mage killing damage because I didn't do Baron basement before Moon, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, she had the magma key, so that I'm not sure that makes you feel better or worse, but yeah.
You know what? If people were doing slow Ashura fights, whatever.
They were kind of slow because there was I don't think anyone had any sort of mage killing gear, so you weren't alone thinking to heck with this, let's go somewhere. I already have my underground access. I totally get it, at least totally understandable.
Yeah. So like, if it was a magma key, oh well, it's fine. It was. I figured just go underground, chase the stuff, it'll be fine. I have the power and just sweep the underground. Unfortunately, I didn't do the correct underground check first. I did everything else first. But you just get unlucky sometimes, right?
Yeah, it's really weird when the least efficient way to go once you go underground has the one key item that you need.
Yeah. Oh well. It was fun. I was kind of sad that we got a Palom. Well, okay, sad in the sense that this seed could have been a lot worse, because Palom would have not Palom would have been bad maybe. But then again, I was hoping for the other black mage, the one who wears the tiara and washes cars. That would have been fun, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But she wasn't in this seat, unfortunately.
No, I'm told that. So I threw away Edge, and then apparently Porum was at the Sand Ruby spot.
Yep, you pick up the Sand Ruby at the top of Tower, so atop of Tower of Babel. So yeah, that wasn't happening either.
Nah, I already had all the my party was fine. I was just doing a little bit of work to keep Edward down, and he was a perfectly acceptable cursed anchor. There was some chatting in the seed in the race room about oh yeah, Eddie, perfectly good anchor, and people are like, no, he's not. I'm like, yeah, he is. He's perfectly fine as long as you find a curse ring.
What kind of hipster nonsense is this? That Eddie is a base level Eddie with a curse ring isn't a good anchor?
I don't know, but also not even base level. I think my Eddie was level 24. I mean, I'm still in the game. I can check.
He's
24.
Perfectly fine anchor, especially with the curse ring.
Yeah.
Probably be a little harder to deal with him if you didn't have one. But I think this seed was generous enough to give you one. In the
treasury, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. The treasury. Well, I don't think much under T Pro, but actually had the things you actually needed to make the seed solvable.
Yeah, it was fine. I think, in hindsight, maybe I took Baron Castle too early, but I was I'll get levels from King Queen Evelyn, I'll get some gear. A Palom will have tier 2s. I'll scrape my way through the fight with multiple Stardust and stuff. I'm not gonna do a ton of damage, but I'll do some damage. And then it was Baigen, which, well, everyone saw my fight.
I think there was some trouble with Baigen given the timing of it. It wasn't just you, so you don't. So don't, it's not your fault.
I think that fight at that spot with not very many levels and without Virus makes that fight a lot nicer because the MDef at the Kainaso spot is less miserable, and so.
Right.
You just sort of overpowered that spot with bounced viruses. It's fine.
Oh yeah, it was a sight. Baigen, who often you just write it off. You think Quake Kid has Quake, it's done. Not this early.
No.
Yeah, it's especially King Nazo spot is surprisingly tanky. So yeah, you're not
Surprisingly
wrong.
tanky, surprisingly fast. It has 18 speed. I think like when I went back to save, I said, I kind of feel like I want to take an encounter. Like I thought maybe I should just take an encounter and get like some levels. Cause like I could have just grinded in the pair. I don't think it would have been efficient. It would have been funny. And everyone loves seeing Senator Crocodile. So like cool. But yeah, I don't know. I thought about it. I didn't want to use my siren because I was gonna siren on the moon. That let's not talk about that. That went poorly. I should have just hourglass. I don't think I used a single one of my however many starting hourglasses. Oh yeah. I even cast stop. I cast stop in that grind fight, and then I also cast stop in the dark elf fight. And like I could have just thrown the hourglass. Like I don't know. This is
you forget you're racing the time. Time is quick.
I think I was thinking, oh, you know what? I might use them on the moon monster boxes that I'm gonna do, which I had so much gear I was never gonna do a moon monster box. And then I did doors because I had RA1 and a wallcaster, so like there's a little bit of a misplay, which explains my time, but it's okay.
I think you made up time admirably. It's one of those seeds where like things lined up in such a way that you just didn't anticipate. It happens.
Yeah, you get unlucky and like whatever. My Zeromus fight was like, I was thinking, do I do like reflex strats? Do I do zerking? Do I do hybrid? I'm like, you know what? Hybrid is the safest possible fight, I think. And then it was not really that safe. But you know what? I beat the seed. We're done.
Well, last question from me, Scythe, is how fun is required Antlion and required Leviathan in the in the Masa spot?
Oh man, like the moon bosses that you had to fight were like they were pretty fun. I don't remember what was at the White Spear altar. That was Pale Dim. That was ugly. That wasn't a fun fight because like I didn't really want to zerk because I could have cast slow, I guess, but I just didn't want to. Antlion, I apparently other people had Rosa get punched repeatedly by Antlion. I think I got my blinks up and it was fine. I probably could have bluffed more, maybe. I don't know. But like the fact that Yang and Kane both were using charge moves sort of like made that not so great. Like honestly, those two fights were kind of fine. It was just slow because it was like blink, 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 and then smack them with stuff. Leviathan was funny because I said, oh, all right, I'm just going to zerk with Kane and then get walls up. This sounds like a plan. I think this is a good idea. And then I managed to not get like targeted poorly. So I saw it. I was like, oh, that's dangerous. Uh-oh. But like Palomed lit 3. So it was fine.
Well,
did anyone find a Thunderclaw?
I don't think it appeared, at least for any of our on our restream. So
okay, I don't feel so bad then.
It's fine. It could have been. I mean, it could have been worse. Honestly, you had most of the tools. You just had to deal with what you were dealt.
Yeah, I think I saw somewhere in the Race Spoilers channel that the person who won this race, Pyre, like wiped a couple times to Odin, and I'm like, oh my god. Like that's a non-trivial wipe. And like I saw that fight. I'm on battle speed 3. Cam is going first. I'm like, you know what? Heck it. I'm Bacchusing. I'm just doing it. I don't care if this is my only Bacchus in the whole seed. I think this is worth it because otherwise I think I wipe as well. So like using resources in this seed was, I think, important, except if you use them incorrectly, then it's bad.
well, far from bad was your performance side. GG's once again, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, GG's, and thanks to all of our restream team, Dathis for rolling this one and restreaming, Deathlike and Sheep for comms. I think Possum was tracking. Who let Possum track?
Hmm.
Are the buttons still there?
There were probably extra duplicate buttons just in case.
Okay, backup
Yeah.
buttons. All right, okay, we're good.
Uh,
Anyway,
Some
take
of them
care, folks.
are there, but like wet. I don't know. GG's once again.
GG's.
GG's again, Skype.
All right, that'll wrap it up tonight for us. Don't forget, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, that's Saturday, Mom's Spaghetti Club. You don't want to miss it. You got to be here precisely at 3 p.m. Eastern because you never know how quickly these things will go. But once again, thank you to our tracker, Possum Morpheus. Thank you to our restreamer, Daphis. Thank you, Deathlike, for providing all of the knowledge. We're going to sign off for tonight, but we're going to take you over to Tall Grant, who's running some Sumomo After Dark. Some more Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise will pay Tall Grant a visit. So for all of us, until next time, so long.
See you all next seed.